Hi guys, Jason with Luma Blade here. We're going to continue onward with the Hidden Tang Traditional Drop Point Hunter. We're getting ready to go with the acid etch. There's a couple things that we need to consider and know. When working with acid, you want to wear safety glasses. When handling the blade from this point forward, you want to wear a rubber glove, go to Harbor Freight. It'll also protect your skin, but it's also to prevent any oils from getting, any of your hand oils to get on the blade itself, because it'll affect your acid finish on this. A couple things we need to do this. I have a local Radio Shack local to me, and they sell what's known as a PCB etchant. I mix this with water in a 1-to-1 solution. When we go over to the area where I'm going to be doing the etching, I'll show you how I made my vestibule for this. Now, first you put the water, then you add the acid. Not the other way around. That's just a rule of thumb for all acids. You're going to need some acetone. I got stainless steel wire. It's safety wire for my motorcycle stuff, so I have it, and I'll show you what that's for later. And you're going to need paper towels. Again, safety glasses are important, man. I know someone that got a little tiny drop of this acetone in their eye. They were down for a while and they were screaming in pain. So anyway, I'm going to clean the surfaces of this blade. I'm cleaning off my old dye that I had on there, the dye chem. Once I get the dye, flip it to a clean side, clean the other side. And by the way, if you didn't watch the last video, I've washed it in Dawn dish soap, which is an excellent degreaser. And I take my time with the acetone, because I've learned over time that a clean blade is key to having a nice etch. Listen guys, you want to get it as even as possible, but you know, it is steel. It's going to do what it's going to do. Sometimes you'll get some really insane looking patterns by the time you're done. Now the 1084 for me, I diluted at a 1-to-1 solution with water, as I stated. I put the blade in for 10 minutes. I don't leave it in for any longer than that. Then what I do, the little hole that I drilled at the top, I use it to hang it so I don't lose the blade in my acid vestibule. It's just a homemade item. I like to change out my gloves, okay, because I got the acetone on it. They start to kind of melt and act a little weird. So I'm going to take you on a little trip over to where we're going to be doing the acid. That is my acid vestibule right there. That is what I created. It's just simply a piece of PVC pipe with glued on pipe caps. I used the flat caps, not the round caps, so it could stand by itself and stand alone. And behind that, I have ready another container, simple Tupperware container filled with water and Dawn dish soap for the neutralization. Of course, I have a little kid, little daughter, and they're short, so they see things that are low. So what I do is I hide this. I don't leave it around in my shop. I hide it somewhere in my garage, out of reach, because, you know, God forbid. Also, I write on it acid, danger, everything, because God forbid something should happen to me and I become incapacitated and they're cleaning out my garage, you know, 10-15 years from now, cleaning out my shop, they come across this pipe, someone opens it and gets acid all in their face and on their eyes. So whenever I have caustic chemicals, this acid isn't that bad. It'll make you itch, it'll burn a little bit, but whenever I have anything that could hurt anybody, I always label it accordingly. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to remove the cap. So now I'm going to go and I'm going to place the knife in, and you'll see how I bend the wire over the top to give me kind of a handle to hook for. Now I'm going to start my timer. In 10 minutes I'm going to pull it out. I'll show it to you what it looks like. You saw what it looked like when it went in, and I'm going to put it in the neutralizing solution, which is just Dawn dish soap. From there I go rinse it, I hang it, I hit it with a heat gun. I believe, and I'm not sure if this is, you know, the truth, but I do believe that by adding heat it helps bake it on better. I've had excellent results by doing this method. I'll come back to you as soon as it's ready to come out of the acid. Another thing is you don't want to leave it in for like 20 minutes or something thinking it's going to get darker, because you're just going to wind up pulling out a rusty mess. Ask me how I know. The beauty about the etch, if you don't like the way it came out, you can just sand it off and start over. I haven't had to do that yet, luckily. Alright, when I come back, we'll be taking it out of the acid. Okay guys, 10 minutes went by. Camera magic, it's beautiful. I'm going to pull it out of the etch, and I'm not going to drip it over here in the acid to show you. It's zoomed in enough. I'll hold it in frame. I'll dip it in the Dawn dish soap. Let me get in on that right there. Sorry, I'm a one-man recording guy. Nothing professional about it. But I'm going to pull it out and put it in there, and you'll see the transformation, the color of the blade. You're not going to hear me speak because I'm far away and it's going to sound very faint. Okay, that's all there is to it. This is neutralized in the Dawn dish soap. Let's see if I can get this in focus. You see how it turned that water, took all that acid away? It's very even, nice and black. So what I want to do now is I'm going to go rinse it off in my sink. I'm going to hang it. I'll bring you over to where I'm hanging it, and then I'm going to apply heat to it. Alright guys, I'm going to take you over to where I have it hung. I was just received a message from one of my friends that's going to stop by. That's why I said the importance of putting the acid away as soon as you're done. He's going to come walking through that door. So I made sure I closed up the acid and moved away everything so there's no tripping hazards. Sorry, I'm Mr. Safety about this kind of stuff. So I'm going to take you over to where I have it hanging. This is really no big deal. It's just an added step that I believe in. So let's see here. Like I said, some guys may disagree with this method, but I believe that this does work well and helps. Now when I say I'm applying heat, you don't have to worry about gloves at this point or really safety glasses. There's no acid, it's safe to touch, everything like that. Fingerprints are safe. But you can see how nice and black it is. There are a couple of little imperfections, but that doesn't matter because the next step is going to make it into something even better. So what I have is I have a inexpensive heat gun. When I say applying heat, we're not applying, putting it in the oven, we're not going to temper it, we're not going to do anything like that. We're going to quick dry. I do this until I see the water leave the blade. You still want to be careful, you don't want to scratch the thing. The scratch will show up. But I make sure I get everything because when I put it in the tumbler, I don't want to create a paste. I dry both sides evenly, applying heat to it. This bonds the etch, the acid, to the steel. That's about good. It should be warm to the touch, not too hot. When I come back, I'll show you the tumbling of the acid. Alright guys, so the blade's accurate, you know, it's dried, everything's good. I'm going to take it down off the wire. You can see that little discoloration at the top. That's kind of where a sanding transition, like this, people think etching is going to allow you to do less work. No, you got to do the same amount of work. There we go. So you see over in here, it's showing a little bit of the imperfections in the steel here, where I didn't quite sand it perfectly and everything like that. But there's no gouges, and you're going to see how that stuff's actually going to disappear in the next step. So I'm going to pick you up, I'm going to bring you over to my tumbler and show you what I do next and how I do it. Okay guys, I have you here. This is actually my reloading room, and this is where I keep my tumbler. The tumbler I use is Thumbler's rotary tumbler. You don't have to use this one. You get a cheap one from Harbor Freight. But in a minute, you're going to see why this one's worth the money. For a media, I went to Harbor Freight. Just a ceramic media. It's a bunch of pieces that look like this. I don't know if it's ceramic, stone, whatever. But it's soft, you know, it's not like hard. What I do is I take the blade. I put my blade in there. I'm not worried about it getting scratched. I take my gasket. This is also a wet tumbler. It's excellent for brass. It's a great tumbler. And I've been through the Harbor Freight ones. They self-destruct over time. I actually have one that I use to powder coat my lead cast heads. This one takes a little bit of time, you know, because you got to go ahead and put every one of these things on. The little wing nuts, but they're okay. So once I get this all closed up, I'll put it on there. I let it go for about 15-20 minutes, and I'll pull out and check. You don't want to let it go too long. So what I'm going for is an acid stone wash finish. Okay, then I set it on the base, and I turn it on. Now this is why it's worth the money. Anyone that's had a regular tumbler knows the noise it makes, and it's incredible. So it's going to go like that for about 15 minutes. I'll leave it on so you guys can enjoy that sound. Nah, just kidding. I'll use camera magic again. Alright guys, it's been about 15 minutes. Let's see how we did. Pretty darn good. I'm going to go rinse it off and show you, but I'll take you back to the bench. But this is a nice dark stone washed acid etch finish. It's what I was going for, what I like. If you want it lighter, just let it go longer. I'll take you back to the bench, you'll get a better idea of it. Alright, we're back at the bench here. Let's never mind this stuff. It's another knife I'm working on. But that's kind of the finish I'm going for. This is, I guess you could call it my signature finish. This is the way I like to finish high carbon steel blades. And I explained the reasoning behind that in my other video. And believe me, this does not get you out of any work. I do mirror finish, mirror polish knives, and maybe I'll do one at a later date. But I find that the acid wash goes with what I like.